This is the Soul-Filled Sisterhood podcast, and I'm your host, Nicole Burgess, licensed marriage and family therapist and an empowerment mentor for women. The information shared in this podcast is not a substitute, nor is it to convey professional, psychological, financial, or medical advice. If you could use such services, please seek them out from someone you trust. Now here is today's episode. Episode 28. Today's episode is sponsored by Nicole Burgess, Empowerment Mentor. She helps the high-achieving, introverted, and sensitive females end the overwhelm and stressed out cycle and create more harmony between work and personal life so that she can have deeper connections not only with her partner, her children, and herself. Now here is today's episode. Well, welcome, sisters. Today's episode, I am going to talk about gratitude, joy, and love, and how it is possible to actually have more of that in your life. At the time of this recording, it is actually Thanksgiving week here in the United States, and I know it is often talked about from TV commercials to sometimes family traditions. You know, we need to share what we're grateful for or thankful for. And the holiday only happens once a year. The biggest piece that I find or I struggle with is why do we only do that one time a year versus on a daily basis? And I'm sure many of you know that you do need to do it on a daily basis to actually expand it in your life. There are numerous research studies out there, a lot of them through the positive psychology, that they talk about how gratitude actually can change your mind and where it focuses. There's other people that have written various things about it as well, but it's the common theme of going back to having gratitude really does bring more joy and more of what you do want in your life. So we're going to be very intentional about this. So having that morning practice before sometimes even you wake up. I know for me now, when I wasn't consistent with the daily gratitude practice, I did not do this. And now every morning when I wake up, I really do. It's like sometimes before my eyes even pop open, I wake up saying, oh, I'm so grateful for a new day. I'm grateful for that I'm alive. I'm grateful for what I have. All of that stuff begins my day from a very calm, centered place. Then you want to end your day with gratitude as well. So again, gratitude is more of what are you thankful for, appreciate, and the why behind that as well. It really helps sink that into the neurological connection. And for those of you who are introverted and sensitive or HSPs, it really having that ending point of the day in that gratitude after all the information and stimulation that has happened throughout the day, through the evening, it helps you calm your mind down and truly ends your note where, again, when you're dreaming at night, it's bringing up the things that are more positive in your mind. It helps you be more happy when you actually go to bed. And the goal is we want to really make those connections stronger in our mind of focusing on what is good in the world, what is good in our life, what is positive. Versus, oftentimes I have women will ask me, well, Nicole, is it okay for me to watch the news? And oftentimes I say no, because especially if you watch it before you go to bed, you're going to bring all that information into your mind and the images into your mind, and your brain's going to be thinking about it and dreaming about it at night. Not all news is beautiful news to be percolating through the nighttime and dreaming about. But when you end your day in that gratitude, you're bringing in more of the calm and the peacefulness so that things can calm down in your mind and work, I want to say, for you versus against you so you can have more restful sleep. If you need to be paying attention to the news every day, then read about it. Again, our brain really is a very visual thing, and it keeps those images, and oftentimes news stories will be played over and over and over, and that gets stuck in our mind, and we don't really need to see that image over and over and over. So if you need to watch or if you need to be up to date on the news every day, I encourage you to pick a time, read about it or listen, and then don't do more than that. I know for me, I'm not watching the news. Other people will end up telling me about specific stories, or there may be a feed through social media that will show me, hey, here's the highlight of the day. So as I said, positive psychology talks a lot about the attitude of gratitude and really being intentional about focusing on what you are grateful for in your life on a daily basis. The practicing gratitude is also truly training your minds to look for the good. You can, whatever emotions come up throughout your day, you're going to feel them, and it's about moving through them. It's not about getting stuck in them. So if we're not practicing that mindfulness piece of gratitude, you can get stuck in this place of scarcity or fear or doubt. Yet when you're truly being intentional and focusing on the gratitude or things that you're grateful for, thankful for, appreciate, you can feel the joy rising up in your body. You can feel your heart expanding through love. And you also have more grace often for others because you have grace for yourself. The concept of, for some of you, if you're not aware, like the law of attraction. For me, it's going back to God. Other people refer to the higher power or universe. So when I'm letting God know that I am grateful for all that I have in my life, I'm going to have more of that come my way. Not that I'm entitled to it or that I deserve it, but that's because I'm focusing on, I already know what I'm putting out in the world is what's going to be coming back to me. That's also, again, for those who go for the law of attraction, that's about what you put out there, what you're envisioning that you want in your life is going to come back around, because the universe is like, hey, I got your back, man. Totally going to be there for you. But if we're focusing on, oh, this really is awful, I hate the cold weather. That's a lot of what I hear as our weather here in Indiana changes. For me, I love it. But if I'm focusing more on what I don't want in my life, that's usually what I get more of in my life, right? So it's being very mindful of what it is I'm thinking and going after. I'm going to bring back more into my life. When we focus on that gratefulness, when we're putting that out into the universe, right, it's shifting your vibrational level. And I know we've talked in episode 8 when I talked with Carrie Nola about shadow work and vibrational level. So I want to give you an example in a little exercise. This is what I do with clients that I work with, and I also do myself. I want you just to become an observer right now, wherever you are. Whether you're driving, you're at the gym, you're taking a walk, wherever you are, become an observer. I want you to begin to look around you and gently notice something that pleases you. And just hold your attention on that for a moment. Think about how wonderful and beautiful, or maybe even useful it is. Continue to observe it until you feel that appreciation expanding within you. This is the example of what I'm saying is you're giving it to the universe, you're taking it back to God, and you're telling them, give me more of this, please. Now, shift your focus. Choose another object that you can appreciate. You can do this every single day, every moment. I mean, it's from the little things, right? When you walk into, I know when I used to travel quite a bit when I worked in the corporate world and I was a business analyst, it would be like I walk in my hotel room and I'd be so grateful that they had a staff that came through and cleaned my room. Grateful for the comfortable beds, grateful for the food that was served during the training. Grateful for the people that when I would go to their different facilities, right, I'd have to have people on the other side of, I'd come in with information, but I needed their support on the other side of that, wherever it was, whether it was here in the US or over in Europe, and help me organize some of those things, right? So it can go from the big picture down to the smallest little detail. Grateful for that there are people who work at manufacturing facilities, again, where a lot of the work that I started out as in my job, that for all the factory workers that were out there, so grateful for the work that they did. I remember at one point in time, one place that I worked, there was actually a strike, and the office staff had to actually go out onto the lines to produce products to keep the plant open because of the strike. And being even more appreciative of what everyone did on that plant floor and how they helped us all operate as a whole. That without them, you can't make a sustainable business. And I remember, because I'd have to be out on the floor quite often and talking with people when I was in accounting, and I loved it because they brought so much energy into what they did. And it's not taking any of that for granted. So think about things every single day that you can start your morning off like, what am I grateful for? And then end your day with, what am I grateful for? Maybe you got to chat with a good friend today. Maybe you had just a very deep, incredible conversation with your partner or a loved one. Whatever that is, really anchoring yourself in that helps raise that vibrational level. You also are probably aware of the saying is what you think about and think about is what you bring about. And that's really what this is about today. So a quote by Esther and Jerry Hicks, they co-authored the book, The Law of Attraction. And they say, attention to what is only creates more of what is. In order to effect true positive change in your experience, you must disregard how things are, as well as how others are seeing you, and give more of your attention to the way you prefer things to be. With practice, you will change your point of attraction and you will experience a substantial change in your life experience. So this, again, means if you're getting stuck in, oh, I can't do anything different because now everybody else I know, they have these expectations on me. So if you've had a fear that pops up that somehow I have to keep being who I am, even though I'm living out of alignment, you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for you. And again, when you take those masks off, when you end that people-pleasing behavior, you are showing fully up so other people can see you. Remember, when you stay on your side of the sidewalk, it lets the other person on their side of the sidewalk, they can have whatever experience they need to have in that moment. If they're projecting their fears, their preferences on you, that's their stuff. That's not yours. So keep being more of you. And I think one thing I've noticed over time too is when people really discover, and I did this back in episode 26 about talking about introversion versus fear. When people discover that they're truly more introverted or that they're an NF, again, the intuitive feeling, which is also sensitive, and or they're a highly sensitive person, an HSP, there's pushing down those incredible qualities that they bring to our world. This is about being grateful for that. Being grateful for those sensitivities, being grateful that you are a deep thinker and that your brain works the way that it does. You all help make our world be the place that it is. The more you give yourself permission to show up and to be seen, truly does have a positive ripple effect in our world. It helps other women not hide behind this mask, this illusion that somehow they're weak or they're not allowed to be who they truly are, which is that introverted, beautiful, quiet, sensitive person that they are. So my hope from today is that you continue to step more into who you are so that you really can have those deeper connections and that it really can end that overwhelm that sometimes our brain wants to get stuck in, and knowing that you are enough. I am so grateful for each and every one of you for tuning in, for listening, for sharing this podcast. I've gotten some great feedback from folks that tell me how it impacted them and how they're sharing that with other women that they know in their life. And I just truly appreciate all of you spreading the word. And I would love some more ratings in iTunes. So if you log into iTunes, you can actually leave a rating and actually write it out, or you can leave there's a 5-star system that's out there. This helps spread that out to other people, other podcast listeners, and I would appreciate any feedback that you've got. Until next time, may you have a glorious day wherever you are, and take care. Thank you for listening. If you haven't already, I invite you to go out to iTunes and please leave an honest rating and review. In the podcast world, this really helps other women find the podcast and they can see if it resonates with others out there. So I really appreciate all your support and leaving me a rating.